All right. Trade recap 529. I think this is the last trading day of this month. Let me check. Yes, last trading day of this month, and I took a break even. Yeah, small loss slash break even. What did I see going into the morning? I we already saw that we swept out this previous day high and trading around that range as well as all-time highs right there. So I'm assuming, or I kind of had a feeling we would just sweep up, take out this all-time high, retrace lower, and then after the retrace, I could look for longs. Um, so yeah, I was just bullish on the day. On the daily, I have these two levels marked out. Drop down to the 4-hour. Immediately, I'm looking in this range. You know, this is my external range. This is my external range. Everything inside is my internal, right? So the most obvious swing points are this one right here, all-time high above, and then this previous day low, right? Internal range liquidity I'm looking at is this 4-hour fair value gap that got traded into and currently respecting it, right? You can see that it's tapped into this and now it's bouncing up, targeting these all-time highs. What do I see? I see this 4-hour intermediate low. It's just a low that's inside a fair value gap that gets respected, right? Yeah, fair value gap right here, and this is the low that's inside a fair value gap. So this is just a 4-hour intermediate low. It's just basically means it's an intermediate swing low that's inside an external range, right? So this is our external range. This swing low is our internal range, right? It's just a smaller swing inside a bigger movement. Other than this, on the 4-hour, I didn't have any other levels. You know, it was just price was already almost about to tap this. So I kind of knew going into the morning that we would just take all-time highs and sweep lower. So I dropped down to the 1. The most obvious level I'm gonna mark out is obviously gonna be this London session low. London low right there. London low also is a 1-hour intermediate low. You can kind of see slash 1-hour intermediate low, right? Fair value gap gets respected, right? It doesn't have to be inside. It just has to tap into it and respect it. Same with this. It tapped into this and is currently respecting it. That means this is considered an intermediate low now, right? So get rid of that. So now that we're seeing we're respecting bullish on the 4-hour, and we're also respecting bullish on the 1-hour. My bias is bullish. Simple. But before we can long, I need price to be trading back into a key level and then give me an entry signal higher. So from here, the only other level I marked out was this open 1-hour gap. 1-hour fair value gap. Yeah. You guys see it right here? 1-hour fair value gap. Right? Just marked it with a level instead of drawing the whole box out. What else? Oh yeah, and then this was a 1-hour intermediate low right here. 1-hour intermediate low. Yep, and then drop down to the 15. Nothing really catching my eye on the 15. You know, I was anticipating price to just drop down here and then go higher, but yeah, I think at open we just ripped up. So I have these levels I have marked out for the day, and then I just wait for price to play out and then see where it goes from there. Yeah, it just ripped up immediately. No entry there. It just continues ripping. Yeah, I think I'm still waiting here. Yeah. I don't think it was until we hit this. Yeah, immediately keeps dumping. Oh, and then right here was when I got interested, right? If you look on ES over here, ES took London lows, but right here on London lows, we just edged it. That means it's an SMT, right? That means when this rejects without touching this, that means these are correlating assets, right? So if ES took it, then we can assume that this is the same thing, you know, it's an SMT now. So this is an SMT. Yes, and then also, what did we see? A manipulation leg, right? So this, from this high to this low, we tapped into a key level, high to low, manipulation leg, high to low, right? What do I see? Open fair value gap here. Another one, open fair value gap here. So immediately I'm thinking, okay, if we can get an inverse of 2 of these 5-minute gaps, right, I would be bullish. And what do? Boom, we get the first inverse. And I believe I entered one position early. So I entered one, and I said to myself that, okay, if this inverses the second one, and then I'll enter another one. So I think it eventually just inversed both of them. Yeah, right here. I think at this point I was entered two total long here, and then my stop loss was, I believe I put it right here. I'll get into why I put it right here later. And then I was targeting, obviously, all-time highs, but my break even was right at this 15-minute gap. My break even was here, right? So once I go right here, then I could let these runners just run all the way up to here. But as you can see, I'll show you right now, I think it just, yeah, it just basically just went break even. So I was watching on the 5. Once it taps into this, I didn't go break even just yet, just because it was so close. I kind of wanted to see a closure through it, as well as I also have this open gap right here that was getting respected. So I was kind of like, okay, let me let this play out a little. You see the gap right here, a gap right here, taps into it. Now it's kind of respecting it. So let's see what it does. Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna be honest, like throughout this whole entire trade, this was like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, like, dude, almost like an hour into this trade. Dude didn't go nowhere yet, you know. I was basically in drawdown for an hour. Yeah, and then it was right here where I was like, okay, now I'm gonna move my stop to break even, but I'm not gonna move it to that entry. I'm gonna move it to this swing low, which is basically near basically the swing low. I was willing to risk this just because, one, we had an open gap right here that I wanted to see get respected, right? I wanted to see this get respected, and that was near my entry anyway. So I moved my stops I basically de-risk, you know. Yeah, so seeing that it tapped into this gave me more confident that, you know, my stop loss right here is good. So I continued moving my stop loss up to this one, I believe, up to this swing low. I can't move it up, but this swing low right here. And I just got stopped out for break even. It wasn't really break even though. It was like minus like 50, 60 bucks just because like the fills. But I would still count it as break even just because I de-risked and I didn't let it go all the way to my stop loss. But I also think that this was a good break even, just because if I hadn't gone break even, it would have stopped me out from my stop loss anyways, you know. So I would say that this break even was actually, I would say, just even though I lost money on this trade, I would still say it's a good trade just because everything played out like how I wanted to, you know. I had a manipulation lower, 2 times 5-minute gaps inversed, as well as my break even eventually hitting my stop loss. That's a good sign that, you know, in the future, if I had to take this trade again, my break even saved me, you know, from taking a bigger loss than I should have. All right, another reason why my original stop loss was right here and not all the way down here at the swing low was because, one, before going higher and inversing, right, what do we do right here? We tap into this gap and respect it. This counts as like a 5-minute intermediate low now, you know. And if I'm bullish, I don't want price to be inversing this gap anyways, you know. If this gap gets inverse, I'm kind of like, okay, well, we have no business longing this if this is gonna be inverse. So I step my stops right here, you know. And on top of that, it just gave me a better RR. Looking back on the day though, in conditions like this, when you're targeting a new high, it's very, like, not rare, but it's less your win rate could be less just because you're targeting such a prominent high. You know, usually you want to target the lowest hanging fruit, and in this case, the lowest hanging fruit was this like major swing. You know, if what I should have done, I should have found an earlier entry down here and targeted my break even. That would have been a good trade, but I guess the highest time frame was a 5 minute, and that's just the rules, you know. Like I can't take a 1 minute inverse. If I had taken a 1 minute inverse, like down here, then I would have been able to take this. But based on the rules and based on the conditions, you're supposed to take, or my rule is that I'm always gonna take the highest time frame available, you know. And the 5 minute was available, and sometimes happens like this where you just miss out, you know. But for the most part, it's always better to just be safe and take the highest time frame, the highest one available. What else am I missing? Yeah, that's it. This trade fucking took like 2 hours, low key. Like from my entry, which is, let's just say 8 o'clock, all the way to like 10. Dude, yeah, 2 hours. I left by the time it went break even, but dude, 2 hours from entry to trade, it's never a good sign. Alright, yeah, that's it. Catch you guys next time.